The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, I have with me on the phone right here. His name is Terrell Deshaun Perry, and he is a brother of mine. He's a friend of mine, and he is going to be a good friend of yours as well, because this guy is a big-hearted bear. This is the understanding that I have come across, is that this guy, from all the times that I've talked to this guy is one of these guys that you would want to have hanging out next to you, cracking jokes, being your friend. And I have an opportunity to get to know a lot of these guys on a personal level, and the stories that come out of this they're hard to hear. And what we hear a lot of this is we hear of a lot of innocent men who have been locked in chains, and it is a completely one-sided set of justice. And once you get in this criminal system, once they get their eyes on you, anybody, any normal person that's walking out there could end up in the same place Terrell is in. And so with that, I would like to introduce my brother. Terrell, how are you doing today?
Oh, today is a great day, to spread the message, man. Get the feet out there, walk around, and, spread the message to the people, spread the love to the people, man. I feel great. Man.
Amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so for those who have not heard, guys, there is this is podcast number 7, and so you guys will want to go back to the very first one. You guys can see Terrell, you can see all the thumbnails, you can see this in the description of this video, guys, is a way to contact this brother. There's 2 different ways. There's the way through Securus, and there's also the way through snail mail, and that's the way you guys can support him and reach out to him as well, because this brother is doing the work of an angel inside of the prison system, because he has taken on a job that a lot of people would never be able to handle, and that is to take care of the inmates on the inside, and basically became the liaison where the system has failed all the brothers and sisters in chains and not given them the support. And so this is a brother who we definitely want to support, who we definitely want to get these stories out. Now, brother, I want to go back a little bit. Let's go into the Bill Clements prison, and I have on my notes here that you were in this particular one from 2006 to 2021. Is that correct?
Yeah. There was time I spent on that unit.
Now, Now, prior to this, what was your relationship with, I guess, the creator of the universe? What was your views on those who believe, and a lot of people, everybody who's going to be out there does probably know our creator as God. You and I know him as a different name that it's not a pagan name. His name is Yahuwah, Yahweh. And what was your relationship prior, before you went in? I know there's some stuff inside of the Bill Clements unit where things dramatically changed for you from a spiritual side. Can you take me back to a little bit before the spiritual side change and talk about a little bit what led you to that switch?
Okay, well, when I was younger, I always felt the need to help people, but I did that in a form of street help, like street loyalty, to be loyal to my brothers in the street because I didn't grow up with any brothers. But as far as faith, I grew up in a Christian-based religion, like Southern Baptist. And when I actually stayed in Cypress, Missouri, as young, that was Pentecostal, and it wasn't too much difference. But as far as my spirituality, I was always taught that the laws of the Father didn't apply to me. So basically, whenever I do something, just say you're sorry and just keep going. And if you do it again, say you're sorry again. And if you do it again, just say you still just keep on. Like basically, like you can do what you want to do because just say you're sorry, keep going. Mm-hmm. So I had that mentality spiritually and mentally, in the physical world, in the fleshly world. So, I felt like, if I did something, I would just say, my bad, my fault, and just keep going. Really didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. So when I was in the county for this charge right here, I used to listen to this pastor from Atlanta, and I listened to him every morning. And I really liked it. And I would actually try to fight. I got to the point where I would fight behind it. Like, they had to let me watch this program every morning. And it got to the point that I was like, look, they didn't watch them 2 programs, and then he don't care after that. You have to let them watch them. And it was, I was basically, that's what it was, the Christian pastor. Preaching to me in the morning. And then later on that day, I would go, and probably smoke a cigarette, smoke a joint or something, and act like I just didn't listen to nothing I heard, that morning. So, because I feel like I wasn't breaking any laws, you know what I'm saying? Like there was no law to break. Mm-hmm. So I took this mentality, the spiritual mentality, always with me throughout all this time. So I'm at the Bill Clemens unit, and every Thursday they had the service, church service. The dude would bring a tape sermon of like a big screen, like I guess a DVD type of tape sermon that was that they brought every Thursday. We would fly to the gym and everybody would watch. So we would go out. It was a call out service. So they called, they look, Thursday service in the 8 gym or something. So we had to either go to the gym, and I had these front row seats. Me and these certain guys had the same seat every Thursday, and everybody knew we sit up there every Thursday. So I go up there. So this particular week, they had a service on DVD downloaded that from the same pastor. I used to listen to the calendar. Oh man, so I'm amped up. But I'm studying. I'm reading a little bit. I'm getting more familiar with, because I'm not in the streets. I got more time to read. We didn't have the tablets yet in the system. So I got a little bit more time to read. I felt like I'm kind of getting a little, spiritually awareness. And so this guy, they said next week they're going to bring him in and they program with him preaching. So I'm really amped up. I'm really amped up. I'm like, oh, man, it's going to be good. So I go in that week, everything was ready. So they started all off, and this preacher, he comes on, and the first thing he talked about, Jason, was how the laws have been done away with. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like they didn't apply to nobody and nothing, like that's the Old Testament type of teaching and all that. So I don't know what happened, brother, but I felt so convicted. I felt so bad, and I knew in my spirit that it was wrong. I was like, that's not right. That's definitely not right. And I listened to that, and the more he talked, the more scripts popped up in my head that I didn't even knew I knew. It just popped up in my head like, no, because this scripture say this. He's saying that, but this scripture say this because he's twisting and misleading these people. And I'm looking around like, and everybody listening, believing like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That ain't sense. And I'm like, oh, man. I saw firsthand through like a spiritual lens how people's spirit being misled to a false teaching. Mm-hmm. Because he's twisting the scriptures that doesn't, and by him being a seasoned pastor, they believe it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this led me on a true spiritual journey. I did not go back to that service to this day. I did not attend no church services to this day. And I said, well, I don't know what to believe. I was so emotionally tangled up in my spirit that I didn't even know what to believe. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start over. I'm erasing everything. I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to do, I'm going to sit for the next, I say, I'm going to fast. I said, I'm going to fast. They said, you fast 3 days with prayer, you will get a revelation. So I said, I'm going to do 3 different fasts and try to get a revelation. And my whole fast is about finding the truth. Okay, so I knew this old school guy that we call Hebrew. That's what everybody called. I never knew why they called him Hebrew. Didn't care why. I didn't know nothing about a Hebrew. Even though I read a book called Hebrew, it never dawned on me that that's what he was talking about. So I fasted. I did 3 different fasts back to back with no break in between, and it lasted 58 days. And my whole fast was for the truth. I said, I want to know the truth. Lead me on the path of truth, and I promise you I'm going to accept it. That's where I throw the party. I'm not going to pray in the name of God or Jesus or nothing like that. I'm just going to say Father and Son because I don't know what to believe now. So that's what I did. For 58 days, I studied, I read, I fed from all yeast and living because I actually read about the living and the yeast in the past. So I said I didn't know what that mean at the time, so I'm just going to stay away from it for 50 days. And I did. And right after that, I fed from all meat. I didn't care what it was. I fed from meat and the television. So, and I said I'm just going to read and study for a whole week. And then on the last day, I did a total fast, no food, no water, no nothing. I said I was going to pray all day, stay in my cell and pray all day. And this is what I did for 58 days. And in the middle of this, I met an old school Catholic called Hebrew. His name is Yaakov, but we call him Hebrew. So, and he seen me reading this paperwork because I was writing these different people outside of the people that I normally write. I said, since I'm searching for something different, I'm going to talk to different people with a different understanding of the scripture. So I started reading it, and he was like, when he seen me read it, when he walked up to me, he said, say Red. He called me Red. He said, say Red. I said, what's up, Hebrew? He was like, man, I see you kind of, you changed, like you more serious now. So I was like, yeah, man, I said, I'm going through something right now. He said, rhapsody in I was like, yeah, how you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, I see you reading that paperwork right there. He said, if you want to know the truth, holler at me. I was reading the gaps in for you. And when he said it, it was so mind-blowing because it's like, that's what I'm actually, because he didn't know nothing about the fast or nothing, because I didn't tell him about it, because the scripture said, don't boast about it, just do it. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing it. So he didn't know nothing about it. So, and it hit me that he said about the truth, because that's what my fast was about. So I went to his door, I knocked on his door, and I was like, hey, man, and I told him about the fast and all that, what I was searching for. So he introduced me to the name Yahuwah, and Yahweh, and Yahshua, and Yahusha. And I never heard it before. Like, I've seen it, but I didn't know what it mean or who they was talking about. And at that point, he told me about the heritage of the Hebrew Israelites. And, man, it's like, he said Hebrew Israelites are people. Like, we are not a religion. We are people. We just do what the scriptures say. Whatever the book tells you to do, follow it. But now I told her, I said, what about this deal about the laws? He said the laws are forever. He showed me every scripture what it says forever. These are to be followed forever. Those who be grafted into the Israelite, the house of Israel, ought to follow these laws. I'm like, I've never seen none of the stuff that he told me about, and I never understood it till he showed it to me. So from that point on, I always call myself, a Hebrew Israelite because I'm a chosen son of the Father to spread the message to the people, show love to the people, and believe in the scripture and follow the laws. And that's what I do.
Beautiful.
To this day, the best way I can. And that led me to treating people different, to actually spread like, show love to care, show people that, yeah, somebody do care for you. It's like I had a whole different outlook on life. You know, and and it started attracting different people to me. And I started attracting real friends that I met in the penitentiary, because at this time I met people that get out, they promise they're going to do this and that, and they don't do nothing. So now the people that I'm meeting when they get out, they actually do talk to me. One guy I met, his name is Anthony Ramirez. Man, this is one of my best friends. And we are not of the same faith, but we still brothers. And he actually introduced me to my wife right now, man. But he was one of the guys that I met. And when I started, following the laws of the Father, I met this brother, he came to my life, and he's been a real friend. And he introduced, he finds a wife, finds a great thing, and all great things come from the Father. So I feel like that she was placed in my life because to keep me mentally, and spiritually in the right direction. So all this helped me, like I said, wanting to help people. So I took this mentality with me when they just up and shipped me out the blue to Ferguson, And I went to what they call like the belly of the beast, man. It was horrible over there. I told you what happened like the first day when the dude, like, it was a ride and the dude jumped off 3 rows and the other dude tied himself in the cell and burned himself up. And this is what I went to, So it was a test. It was a real test.
So what year do you think that, what year did you do that 58-day fast?
Oh, 2014.
2014. Okay, and so you
2014, man. Yeah.
And so you would basically, as of around 2014, you would call yourself a Hebrew, right? A crossover one.
No, well, I would consider myself a Christian because that's how I grew up. Mm-hmm. But when I met Brother Yaakov, whom everybody called Hebrew, the old man, I took away all man-made titles and denominations and started calling myself the chosen person of the Father, like the chosen people, a Hebrew Israelite, the chosen person, because I was chosen, because that's how I felt. Like, everybody don't get the blessings of the Father. Spirit, like I feel like I got. So you were in there about, 15. You were in there about 8 years after that I guess conversion, or it's not really conversion, because I agree with you that Torah keeping is a lifestyle. It's not a religion. It's definitely not a religion. Every religion I've ever been around it's 100% false. And so you were basically 7 or 8 years before you got moved over to Ferguson. So you had a lot of time to hang out and to study and to learn more as you were rolling, correct? Yes, I had a lot of time to learn and study, but see, the thing was I had never been tested. I had never been tested on it. So I went over there. When I got shipped up out the blue, got shipped to Ferguson, man, at the time, Miss Story, my wife, she was a real, real good friend at first. But we never started off as a relationship or nothing. We started off as real good friends. And it's what we are, to this day, even though she's my wife, she was my best friend. So, like a true friend. So it's like she helped me through it because I was extremely stressed, depressed, and anxious, because I went to a place of comfort to a place of discomfort, and I was isolated once again to a place that I knew nobody. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anyone. So all I had basically was Yahweh and Yahshua, it's like, are you going to conform to the man, or are you going to, stay strong in the spirit? And I like to say, man, I heal strong in the spirit, man. And I denounce all unrighteousness, man. I stayed strong. I stayed true. And it was hard, but I did, man. And over there is where I actually began to learn Hebrew, speak a little Hebrew. And I actually became an elder over the Hebrew community And of all days, it was on a Thursday. The same day where I used to go to the Christian service was the day that the Hebrews and the Jewish brothers over there met. And on Thursday to get ready for Shabbat. So, and I became an elder, and I actually started speaking in front of brothers about the message, about teachers, man, and I grew because it felt like I passed, you know, that is not, you know, at least that part. And I always felt like I was called to help people do something, So I did that for 2 years over there. And it's like school, like a class. You know, I was going through it, and I was learning. I was loving it, man. I felt so energetic, and I felt powerful. I felt the spirit moving in the community, and everybody just gravitated towards me. And I just was helping the brothers, man. And then in 2 years, I got up and shipped on a special chain, just like at Bill Clinton, to over here on this unit, where I'm at now, the SL unit. And it's the hospital unit. Got hospitals over here. So I was like, that's it. You know, I'm called to help people. They sending me where a lot of people need help, you know, because I'm like, everything is lining up. So I'm just praising the Father, man, for placing me in a position to see if I really was going to help people if I gave the opportunity to. And I am doing it, man.
Amazing. Now, you're the last. We have a couple minutes here left, and let's let you have the floor to. Let's just talk to the people that are out there. And you've seen a lot. You've been through a lot. You've been through the darkness. Based upon what you have seen and what changed your life forever, what advice can you give to those out there who are not in the truth that you have found?
I would say, man, be true to yourself. Honor yourself and do yourself a service by doing some real spiritual and soul searching. Everybody that I think they should fast from something, it doesn't have to be food. It could be anything to take your mind and focus away from the spirit of the Father or the Creator. Whatever you choose to call him, I would say stop calling him this. Just call him the Creator and the Father. And remove the bias from your mind and do a fast and accept the revelation that you get. And just search different places, man, and search out different places, man, because you never know what you'll find, man. The Father's waiting on you. He's waiting on you, man.
Beautiful. All right, brother, man, thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for listening to this podcast. This is our brother, Terrell Deshaun Perry, and I thank you guys, brother. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Yes, sir, man. Praise the Father, man. Thank you, Jason. Real, man.
Absolutely.